Mazda is well known for its sporty curbside presence, and the CX-90 Azami G50e is no different, but its lofty price point does position it against some heavy-hitting luxury rivals like the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Mercedes-Benz GLE, and even the Volvo XC90. And in this video, I'm going to show you that this large SUV has its work cut out for it. There are three models for the CX-90, and ours is the top spec Azami grade, which will cost you $93,655 before on roads in the G50e form, or a little over $102,000 drive away. Compared to its rivals, this is a very affordable option if you're looking for a large luxury SUV. It comes loaded with features like Napa leather accented trims, panoramic sunroof, heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, as well as heated rear outboard seats, just to name a few. The full specs are in my written review at carsguide.com.au if you want more info. Having said all of that, the base touring model does come with the exact same engine as this and most of the features anyway, all for $25,000 less. Yes, there are some changes to the features you do get, but not enough to justify the price hike for me. And I know which one I would be choosing. Outside of its sheer size, there's not much that separates this from its SUV stablemates. It still sports the sexy nose, the wide profile, and the decisive lines across the body. But it's really the extension of the body color into that lower cladding and the wheel arches that changes it up. I really love the Soul Red paintwork though, because it makes this car pop. It will cost you an extra $995, but I think it's worth it. Overall, the interior looks quite nice with the leather trims, black headliner, and soft touch points throughout. You get dual 12.3-inch digital screens that headline the dash, but the dash doesn't quite work for me. You get a mixture of these weird-looking vents, chunky paneling, and sloping of the control panel. And it's like it doesn't quite know how it looks, and in my opinion, it's not super sleek. There are two additional packs that you can choose from that would elevate the interior and definitely make it look closer to that $100,000 mark, but they do cost an additional $5,000 each. The cabin feels spacious and wide, and I like it that I'm not on top of my passenger. There's plenty of headroom and legroom in this, and the sunroof just makes it feel even roomier, which is great. The seats are comfortable enough that you're going to look forward to a long journey in them. And while I love that they're both electric, I would have preferred to have seen adjustable lumbar support on the passenger side too, especially at this grade level. The individual storage options are pretty good up front, with a glove box, the usual drink bottle holders, and a phone utility tray. There is a middle console. It's a tad shallow, but it does still fit my small handbag. The charging options throughout the car are really good, with 2 USB-C ports in every row, as well as a 12-volt point up front and a wireless charging pad to choose from. The dual screens look great and are fairly easy to use. I like that it has built-in satellite navigation and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but the CarPlay was a bit fiddly to get going initially, and I did have to use a USB connection to make it work. The back seat is well padded and I have plenty of head and legroom back here. I also just really like the amenities in general. You have climate control, directional air vents, map pockets, reading lights, as well as a fold down armrest with 2 cup holders, although the armrest does sit a little bit too low to be truly comfortable for me. My 6-year-old found this to be very easy to get in and out of and loved the retractable sun blinds and double drink bottle holders in each door. There are ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats plus 3 top tethers, and you'll most likely be able to fit 3 child seats side by side in this. There's also plenty of room for front passengers when a 0 to 4 rearward facing child seat is installed too. There's enough space back here that an adult will be comfortable on a short trip, and it's not too hard to get back here, only a few little groans. But I do really like that the seats themselves are well padded. You get 2 drink bottle holders on each side, as well as 2 USB-C ports back here, and 2 top tether points, so families will be very happy. Even with the third row up, you still get a decent capacity of 257 litres. You can bump it up to 608 litres though if you pop that third row down. It's a nice level cargo space and you get a temporary spare tyre underneath it. What I really like though is that you get a 12 volt port and a 240 volt port in the back here in case you need to charge things while on the go. And I always love a powered tailgate, so that's been very handy this week. There are two engines available for this model, and we have the grunty 3.3 litre turbo petrol mild hybrid engine with a maximum power output of 254 kilowatts and 500 Newton meters worth of torque. It's an all-wheel drive and has an 8-speed auto transmission, which delivers a very smooth driving experience on the open road. I've so enjoyed the power of this one, and that you don't feel like you're digging deep for the power. This has beautiful manners on the open road and really hits its legs when you have to put your foot down to overtake or get up to speed. On the open road, this is a very smooth ride with bumps being absorbed well, but it still feels quite sporty, which is lovely. The cabin is quiet even at higher speeds, and you can easily chat with all occupants in all 3 rows. The ride and handling is a bit different at lower speeds though. When you're going around corners or roundabouts, it can have a tendency to not feel as responsive and even lurch a little bit. It's not as bad as its sibling, the CX-90. It's far more tolerable on this one, but you're not going to forget about it. The steering feels concise and you can tackle a winding road at speed without much roll. In fact, for a large SUV, this is very well balanced and stable on the road. Despite its size, it's actually very easy to park because it has a tight 10.8 meter turning circle, front and rear parking sensors, as well as a very clear 360-degree view camera system. The official combined fuel cycle is 8.2 litres per 100 kilometres, and my real-world usage came to 8.4 litres, which I thought was really good given how big this is and that it's a turbo. Based on the official combined fuel cycle and the 74 litre fuel tank, you should be able to get a driving range of around 902 kilometres, which is fantastic for people like me who do road trips. The CX-90 has a stack of safety features, and I really like the intelligent blind spot monitoring system, which shows the vehicles around you in a dynamic display on your instrument panel. At the time of this video, the CX-90 hasn't been tested with ANCAP yet, and while it does have 10 airbags, as a mum, that safety rating is very important, and if I was buying my family car right now, that would be a consideration for me. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au if you want more info. The ongoing costs for this are quite reasonable. It comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty and cap price servicing for up to 7 years or 105,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. It is pretty common to only see a 5-year term for this class category, so that's a real bonus to have. Servicing intervals are reasonable at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. Services cost an average of $649, which is a little bit expensive for the class, but the servicing intervals are good at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. The Mazda CX-90 G50e Azami is a good-looking large SUV that will fit the family and the gear. It has enough features throughout and comfort that it feels upmarket, but I'm still not convinced that it's worth its price point. And the lack of the ANCAP safety rating is a biggie for me, so this gets a 7.3 out of 10 from me. My son and my father went on a road trip with me this week, and they both commented on how comfortable this car was to be in. My son also really loved the red paintwork, so he gives it an 8 out of 10. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you next week.